Hello and welcome to my review of the Chaos Knights War Dog Karnivore. Now, I originally picked this War Dog up in the Chaos Knights army set, which only came out 2 weeks ago on the 14th of May for £160. Included 2 War Dogs, the Chaos Knight Abominant and a lovely soft touch codex along with some cards. 2 weeks later, there is now a new way of picking up the Chaos Knights War Dogs, and that is in the form of the box set. Now, it does matter a little bit which pair you go for. If you go for the War Dog Carnivores, you're getting the new set. The same if you go for the Brigands and the Stalkers. But if you go for the Executioners or the Huntsmans, then you're just going to be getting a normal Imperial Knight Armiger box set. Either way, a pair of these War Dogs will cost you £52.50. It's quite pricey considering when they first came out. I'd say 4 years ago now, they were £45. So they've gone up £7.50 in 3 years. But of course now you're getting much more in either the Imperial Knight box set or the Chaos Knight War Dog box set. For instance, you can make a choice of 3 different War Dogs just with this set. And I have picked the War Dog Karnivore. I've been very impressed with this set of Chaos Knights, of the War Dogs. So much so that I would not hesitate to pick up a second box of them. Probably to build another Karnivore and possibly a Stalker, or even 2 Stalkers. Anyway, this review is about the War Dog Karnivore, so we'll have a closer look at the War Dog. I'll go through some size comparisons. Wow, one of the main reasons why this review is, I say late coming out, is I've spent, I don't want to tell you how long I've spent, it's hours trying to find my other Chaos Knight. It was in a big Necron box, so at least I found it. I could have just used the Abominant, but I wanted to get the OG Chaos Knight, so I hope you appreciate that for a size comparison, and many other things for the size comparison as well. We'll also look at the spare parts, and we'll go through all of the rules for the Karnivore, because they do differ slightly to the other War Dogs, I might add. So, first things first, let's have a look at this War Dog up close. Now, I'm not sure why you would go for the stubber on there. I mean, this Havoc launcher is a further range. It's potentially got more shots. It's a blast weapon. It can fire at units it can't see. It's just brilliant. And it's a welcome addition to these War Dogs. I think it's actually a good secondary weapon, better than like the close quarters melter gun or even the heavy stubber that we've seen before. It's a lovely addition, but the option is still there if you want to use the heavy stubber. These just pop out of the exhaust thing, whatever that is. The normal Knights have got them as well. The downside about these stubbers is they look exactly the same as the normal Imperial Knight Armigers, whereas the Havoc launcher has a Chaos flavour to it, which is brilliant. Would have liked to have seen a melter gun or some kind of Demon's Breath melter gun thing, or even just a Chaosified heavy stubber, but oh well, never mind, can't have everything. So that's a nice new addition. I'll be comparing it to a normal Armiger in just a moment. But if you're just about to get into Chaos Knights and you want to know the difference between them, the War Dog Executioner and the Huntsman are both the Imperial Knight kind of flavours. This is an Imperial Knight Armiger, and it would, you know, essentially be your Huntsman. They're armed with a Demon Breath spear and the Reaper Chain Talon. The Executioner is armed with the dual War Dog autocannons. Important note to make, all of these weapons have exactly the same profiles except for 1 or 2 of them. Heavy stubber called the Diabolus Heavy Stubber is a heavy 4 shot instead of assault 4 for Imperial, and it's got a better strength. It's a strength 5 instead of the strength 4 that you get for the Imperial one, but the melter gun works the same. So that's the Executioner, that's the Huntsman. If you get the set of Imperial Knights, you're going to get both of these variants in that box set. You don't get anything to chaosify these armatures, so just bear that in mind. Now the Chaos War Dog, now the Chaos Knights War Dog box set, of which you can make a Karnivore, which this one is, which is a full close combat melee weaponed War Dog. The War Dog Stalker, which has 1 melee weapon and either the chain cannon or the Demon Breath Spear, or the new variant, the all shooty, the Brigand right here. And now this has the chain cannon and the thermal spear. So overall you're getting 5 variants with the Chaos Knights War Dogs, which of course is more than the 2 that you get in the Imperial Knights Codex. But let's not forget, for Warhammer 40,000, for Imperial Knights, you can use your Knight Moiraxes, of which you can get a number of variants and weapon options, such as this Moirax with the dual conversion beamers, this one with a GG's Siege Claw and a Graviton cannon. I mean, yes, absolutely fantastic. But back onto the Karnivore. I think it's a very nice looking War Dog, kind of animalistic. You've got a load of options of heads. You don't have to go for these beast heads like the bird and this kind of, I say, wolf or dog, this wolf kind of looking creature. I like the toes, they're different to the Imperial Knights. The armor, now this is, you know, once you see it you might unsee it, so you know, be wary of this. The armor there that protects the ankle joint is not present on the Chaos Knight War Dogs, and I think that's a big faux pas. I would have liked to have seen this armor plate that's been sunk down a little bit actually protecting that ankle joint. I know where I'd be firing at if this was, I say, stood still. They'll be stomping around all the time, won't they? They'll be moving about. But yeah, very weak kind of design choice there, having these ankles fully exposed, but there we go. There's so much about this armature that is different to the Imperial Knight counterpart, from the toes to the stride to the armor plates themselves. They are different. If you notice that this armature doesn't have an armor plate there to cover the knees, whereas the Chaos Knight one does. It's got these extra tusks and you can put other things on there. The Reaper chain blade is different. It's got this big like hook onto it, which is fantastic. You've got the claw as well. I've glued mine completely in a static pose. There's plenty of movement about for you not to have to glue these and to swap the weapons about, and if you don't want like a static collection like mine, then it might be worth doing that depending on your games. I mean, obviously you only get 4 arms with this set, so you know, if you want to swap all the weapons out and things, you're going to have to get a second set anyway, or just use the Imperial Knight box set. You've got the top carapace, which is different, as with the other Chaos Knights. You know, the actual Knight cockpit is all chained up, and there's exposed pipes. The exhausts are bigger and, you know, crowned with spikes. The shoulder pauldrons, again, are pretty spiky. I've pricked myself a few times with them. You've got a choice of spikes. You can either go for these spikes, or like I've done with my Brigand, go for spikes instead of stakes. Up to you. I just felt it worked better with this particular one. You can leave them off, but there will be slight kind of gaps there if you did. The back of the armature is different. It's almost like it's missing like a venting armor panel thing on there. the cabling is loose or cut, so there's a bit of a change there. The actual back panel though, and the heatsink, or whatever you want to call that, that's exactly the same though. So yeah, there is a big difference, and this is what I was kind of hoping for when they announced Chaos Knights the first time around. I thought, no, surely they're not going to release just one Chaos Knight and that's it. And lo and behold, they've done what they did with Imperial Knights, which is they released one Knight, and then a few years later they've released, I say some others, yeah, they have. They've released the Abominant and these War Dogs. Maybe in a couple more years, or in a year or so, they'll release a different Tyrant or some kind of Chaos Knight upgrade sprue. Who knows? But I'm quite happy with their offerings now and their codex. You know, it's like 130 pages or so. It's quite a chunky one, which is great. So that is the War Dog Karnivore. Before we go on to the rules, I'll just show you all the spare parts. So we've had a look at the Diabolus heavy stubber. These are the spare parts for this particular War Dog. So you've got the weapons, so the chain cannon, you've got the Demon's Breath thermal spear thing, which I've used on the Brigand. You've got a cloth thing, which I think I've used on the other one. Yeah, like a banner thing, hang between its legs. You've got the different head. You do get crows. That's another point. If you want to have crows on this that look like your Abominant, you can do. There is, I'd say, at least one that you can put on. Maybe there's another one somewhere. You don't have to have these beast looking faceplates. You can go all sort of Dark Mechanicum almost. You've got three different ones here. They all look quite cool if we just have a closer look at those. So yeah, even if you wanted to opt for this, I mean, if I went for another, if I went for a Stalker, I'd probably have this head. I think it's quite cool, faceplate. I'd have all four of them with different, or even five if I had a fifth one. And then you've also got some chains as well. You can hang them from somewhere. I think probably from the side of the cheek there. So they're all the spare parts. Not a huge amount, but you know, that's what you're getting. Okay, and now time for some size comparisons. So you've already seen it next to a normal Imperial Knight Armiger. It seems, I say bigger, it seems thicker. Not so much taller, but then again the back is more arched and the exhausts sit higher. Again, depends on the pose you go for. This one here, yeah, they just seem a little bit bigger or bit thicker than your normal Armigers. Compared to keeping it with the Knights, compared to an Imperial Knight, here's one I made earlier. So there's the Imperial Knight, pretty sort of standard comparison there. Here's the Chaos Knight Desecrator, I think it is, without the shoulder pauldrons. It does look a bit strange without the shoulder pauldrons, but yeah, you can imagine a few of these milling about one of those. And then finally, I finished it, it's the Abominant. So I have been busy building a lot of Knights over the past sort of 2 weeks. You know, Eldar reviews are on their way as well, so that's a good start to my Chaos Knight force. You've got the Karnivore, 2 Chaos Knights. Again, I would like to increase this by adding 2 more War Dogs and probably call it there for a while. Yes, I'd love to get a Rampager at some point, because I think a fully close combat Chaos Knight is where it's at. Hence why I'd have another Karnivore and run 2 Karnivores with the Rampager and just charge at the enemy. Be so fun. Anyway, that's where they measure up. If you want to know where they sort of measure up next to some other Chaos models, here is a Forge Fiend right here. Forge Fiends are pretty big. Forge Fiends themselves are £47.50. You know, so for £5 more, you're getting the 2 War Dogs, which, yeah, let's face it, there's more there for your money, isn't there? As cool as the Forge Fiend looks, it is starting to look a bit small next to just the normal size, next to the War Dogs. Compared to a normal Chaos Champion, I guess. So there's the Champion. So even these smallest armigers, so even these smallest War Dogs are still towering above a load of your Chaos Space Marine force. So if you wanted to, bolster your Chaos Space Marines with some War Dogs, they are going to be, bigger than Dreadnoughts, bigger than Hellbrutes, bigger than Forge Fiends, bigger than a few of your tanks as well. They're definitely going to stand out, and they fit so well with the Chaos Space Marines. Can't wait to add to the force. And now we've come to the final part of my review, which involves me going through all of the rules for this War Dog Karnivore. And it really is worth me going through all of the rules for it separately from the War Dog Brigand, and it's worth a separate review as well, in my humble opinion. So the War Dog Karnivore, it's a power points cost of an 8. Obviously it's a Lord of War choice. It's a points cost of 140 points, which means it's the cheapest of all the War Dogs, which is great if you want the Havoc missile launcher. If you want the Havoc multi-launcher, of course, you're an extra 5 points. So what's so special about this Karnivore? Well, because it's a vehicle, like all of the knights in the book, the remaining wounds does affect its stat line, but and it starts off with 12 wounds. You can have 1 to 3 in a unit, and if it has 7 or more wounds remaining, its movement speed is 14 inches, weapon skill is 2+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 6, toughness 7, 12 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 8, and a save of 3+. Super, what's so special about that? Well, I will tell you now that means that it is the fastest knight in, I'd say, both of the books. None of the Imperial Knights can move at 14 inches. This is the only knight, or War Dog in this case, that can move 14 inches. Very fast knight, very fast. Danger close. Also, it has a weapon skill of 2+, which again beats any of the other War Dogs. And the only other knights that have the same weapon skill is the Knight Desecrator and the close combat specific Knight Rampager. And the final topping of this dessert is that it has 5 attacks. Again, the only other knight that has 5 attacks is the Knight Rampager. So it is a knight, so it is a mini Rampager, if you will. It's the fastest, it's got a very good weapon skill, and it's got a decent number of attacks. Let's go through the rest of its rules. If the unit contains 2 models, it has a power rating of 16. If this unit contains 3 models, it has a power rating of 24. Every model is equipped with Havoc multi-launcher, Reaper chain cannon, Slaughter Claw. There you go, no messing. You know what you're getting, you just buy one of these, power points cost of 8, you're good to go. So, the weapons. Now, you're not going to pick one of these up for the Havoc multi-launcher, but I'll go through its rules anyway, because I think it's better than the Heavy Stubber. Firstly, it's a 48-inch range, Heavy D6, Strength 5, AP 0, Damage 1. It's blast, and this weapon can target units that are not visible to the bearer. So it can stomp along, it can fire up to 6 Strength 5 shots. It's blast, so it's going to be doing a bit more, so it's going to be inflicting more wounds, and it doesn't need to see what it's firing at, which is great. The main reason you're going to get it though is that Slaughter Claw. It doubles the strength to a 12, its armor penetration is -3, and its damage is D3 + 3. That is horrific. You can use the Reaper chain cannon, you can use the Reaper chain talon if you wish, and luckily it's got 2 different weapon profiles, much like the Imperial Knight counterpart. If you're using a strike profile, it's strength +4, so that's strength 10, AP -4, damage 3. So it loses out on strength and it loses out on damage compared to the Slaughter Claw, but it does make up in armor penetration. So you might want to use that against like elite infantry, whereas a Slaughter Claw you want to be using against other knights and vehicles. The other profile is the sweep attack, and that is the strength of the user, which is only 6, AP -3, damage 1, but you get 2 hit rolls instead of 1. Now that's pretty nice. You know, you go into a group of 10 models and you've suddenly got 10 attacks at weapon skill 2+. 2 of these going into combat, 20 attacks at AP -3. Very nice. War gear options, you can replace that Havoc multi-launcher with a Diabolus heavy stubber. Abilities, Iron Shields, so the Iron Shields are bringing up a 5+ invulnerable save against range attacks only, so be wary, won't have an invulnerable save in close combat. Harbingers of Dread, War Dog Squadron, and Explodes. When a model in this unit is destroyed, roll 1d6 before removing it from play. On a 6 it explodes and each unit within 6 inches suffers D3 mortal wounds. That's as per usual. Faction keywords, Chaos, Chaos Knights, Vehicle, Core, War Dog Class, Terror Shades, War Dog Karnivore. So there you go. That is my review of the War Dog Karnivore. It's a very welcome addition to my Chaos Space Marine and Chaos Knight force, the building force. Of course, my Imperial Knight force is my pride and joy, and I would never think to eclipse it with Chaos Knights, but it's fun to have a few of these in the collection. Super, why would you pick it over like a Stalker or a Brigand? Well, the Karnivore is the epitome of chaos in getting in close quarters and ripping the enemy from limb to limb. It's the fastest war dog, it's got the best weapon skill, and it's got the most number of attacks. The Brigand would be a better choice if for some reason, I don't know why its ballistic skill would be 2+, but if it had a ballistic skill of 2+, and the weapons were a bit further range. As it stands, the Brigand will still have to get in relatively close, you know, effective range there of 42 inches with the Demon Breath Spear, and the chain cannon is a 36-inch range. The Stalker is a good option because it balances its loadout with either an anti-tank, anti-armor Demon Breath Spear and either the Chain Talon or the Slaughter Claw. So it's a happy medium. It can go into close quarters and it has a ranged weapon. However, it does only have the 4 attacks. And the Brigand, likewise, is going to be a bit vulnerable to close combat. The Executioner, much like with the Helverin, can sit back, move about the board and fire with those 60-inch range weapons. And the Huntsman is pretty much the Stalker, but without the option of swapping its melee and ranged weapons. What do you guys think of the War Dog Karnivore? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. Death to the False Emperor.